Hi, I'm Dave Ragsdale, Chair of the Department of Music at UAH. This past year has presented profound challenges for us all, and for some industries in particular, like the performing arts. Yet, in these challenges, we have also found exciting opportunities. Here at UAH, our once bustling recital hall has become equipped with streaming technology, which has extended our reach well beyond the North Alabama area. And we're beginning to hum again with live performance opportunities for our students, faculty, and guest artists. Your steadfast support these recent months has allowed us to overcome the worst of the pandemic, and for that, I thank you. I would also humbly ask you to consider maintaining your support for our programming as we continue to emerge and grow from these recent experiences. Please visit uah.edu/music/donate. We'd appreciate your support.
One, two, three, four, one.
Hi, I'm Matt Westmeyer. I'm a Pro Tools certified music technologist working here at UAH with the music technology program. I'm excited to share with you our technology that we have here and what we share with our students and the experience that we provide them. We work with Pro Tools Ultimate, which is industry standard recording, mixing, and mastering technology. We also use every other various DAW, including Ableton Live for MIDI and electronic music production.
My name's Trent Whitlow, and I'm a transfer from Calhoun Community College. The college transfer experience from Calhoun was very, very easy and seamless. I found that once I got over here, doing internships and real-world experience happened all the time. Anybody that wants to get ahead and wants to move ahead in the North Alabama area for sure, if not honestly in the whole Southeast, needs to be coming to the University of Alabama in Huntsville.
I'm Jonna Doty, Director of Music Technology here at UAH. I am a sound designer. I worked in New York City for about 17 years as a sound designer in the theater and animation, Foley artist, that sort of thing. We have upgraded to the Raven, and it's fabulous. We also do Foley work here. So that's what we've got going between sound design, music, wonderful students, and a booming program.
Another thing that we do is work a lot with MIDI production and electronic music production. Since I've been here, we've developed a computer ensemble.
Hi, my name is Whitney Leonard, and I'm a technical theater student with a sound design minor. And what really brought the two worlds together of music and theater was computer ensemble, because of all the technology that we used, and we had to make our own music and design our own sounds and everything. But we did it live and on stage like you do for concerts and theater, and it really took the musical aspect and the theater aspect and pushed them together.
I think that if you know something about music, if you have an instrument, then you can come in and you can do tech. Music technology is the wave of the future.
Greetings everyone, my name is Daniel Leach. I'm a trombone performance major and welcome to a quick tour of Roberts Hall. Here we're demonstrating a bit of the internal facilities and giving insight into what a music student might encounter through a semester at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. While COVID has brought forth a few unfortunate regulations such as stuffy bell covers, social distancing, and reduced rehearsal scheduling, most of what's been mandated for ensembles has been effective in keeping students and faculty in a much safer environment amongst the pandemic. At Roberts Hall, there are plenty of musical opportunities and ensembles to participate in. We have a wind ensemble, concert choir, guitar ensemble, pep band, percussion ensemble, jazz band, string ensemble, combo band, tuba ensemble, steel drum band, computer ensemble, brass band, woodwind ensemble, chamber choir, piano ensemble, and a university orchestra. A real highlight I find about UH's music department is its developing tech program. We recently established a studio capable of multicam live streaming for any concert or practice session in the recital hall. We also have the capability of mixing and mastering any form of live or studio music in surround sound and Atmos environments. I need not mention the 9-foot Steinway and Yamaha for those who enjoy duets for two pianos. There are also a few pianos in the hall that have MIDI input capabilities. Now, students who can upload their music to a MIDI file can have their accompaniments played on a live piano, rather than just a backing track with headphones. Students also have the capability of organizing their own small group or ensemble, as I've organized in the past with a brass band group called Brass the Sass. Student collaboration breeds creativity and communion, so I encourage you to ask others around if they want to participate with playing from a duet book or start a jam band with real books at the Slab. People get to hear different music, and you, the musician, get to have more hands-on experience for what many don't have the opportunity to do in these times. So stop down and get to know a few of the students and instructors if you can, as they've made my experiences well worth the investment. COVID makes this a crazy time, so don't be shy. Hope to see you around, and thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Dave Ragsdale, Chair of the Department of Music at UAH. This past year has presented profound challenges for us all, and for some industries in particular, like the performing arts. Yet, in these challenges, we have also found exciting opportunities. Here at UAH, our once bustling recital hall has become equipped with streaming technology, which has extended our reach well beyond the North Alabama area. And we're beginning to hum again with live performance opportunities for our students, faculty, and guest artists. Your steadfast support these recent months has allowed us to overcome the worst of the pandemic, and for that, I thank you. I would also humbly ask you to consider maintaining your support for our programming as we continue to emerge and grow from these recent experiences. Please visit uah.edu/music/donate. We'd appreciate your support. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Dr. Matt Carey, Director of Choral Activities at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. I want you to know that there's a place for everyone to sing at UAH. We have different levels of choir, so whether you want to major in music and prepare to become a professional performer, or if you just want to make music in a positive community, we have a choir for you.
Hi, my name is Mariah Pfister, and I'm a sophomore here at UAH. I've been part of a choir since I was 3 years old, and since I was in high school, I was one of the better students in the choir. And when I came to join the choir at UAH, I found this choir that really challenges me to be a better musician. And as strange as that sounds, it really is a nice feeling to be challenged and to not be the best at something, as weird as that is. I have had a wonderful time in this choir, and I hope that you will consider coming to join us.
There we go. Now next. Cool. The pandemic may be keeping us physically distant, but our hearts are closer than ever.
My name is Joseph Miller. I'm a junior here at UAH. I've really enjoyed choir because I love to sing, and being with a group of people and learning how to help the group sound good has been wonderful. The instructors have been encouraging. They've taught me how to push my voice so that I can be even more thrilled with whatever result happens.
Hi, my name is Cecilia Wallen. I'm an international student here at UAH. I've been blessed to be able to come and sing with these people in this choir. They're the most dedicated people I've ever met. They love their work and they work really hard to produce the best music they can ever make. I've had a great time here and I couldn't have been happier anywhere else.
My name is Nikki Metzger, and I'm a student here at UAH pursuing my Master's of Arts in Teaching with a concentration in music ed. After a long break in my education, I came back to school and I've been completely impressed and inspired by the professors in the music department. And as I'm starting to interview in the school systems, I feel completely empowered and prepared to step into the classroom. If you've taken a break from school or you have thought about doing your master's in music education, UAH is a great place to come.
Visit our website for information on auditions and scholarships. Or feel free to email me personally with any questions you might have. I'd love to talk with you about your musical future.
Hi, I'm Dave Ragsdale, Chair of the Department of Music at UAH. This past year has presented profound challenges for us all, and for some industries in particular, like the performing arts. Yet, in these challenges, we have also found exciting opportunities. Here at UAH, our once bustling recital hall has become equipped with streaming technology, which has extended our reach.
see you all here. Thank you for coming and supporting me. I am taking you on a trip around the world today. We just heard music from South America. We will also hear from China and then finally Kenya. So we're going to quickly go around the world. I first started becoming interested in music from other cultures while I was on a mission trip in 2019 to Tanzania, and I got to connect with people over music that they were used to and that they knew that was a popular song for them. And I've seen the power of learning music from other cultures can connect us cross-culturally. So I hope this will inspire you and help you see how music can help us connect with people who are much different from us and have different backgrounds and beliefs and perspectives. So the first two pieces we just heard were first Danza del Viejo Boyero, which is Dance of the Old Herdsman. It's a Argentinian piece which is written in 6/8, which gives it a very dance-like feel, and it's written to also emulate the guitar playing, which has rolled chords. The dance-like feel reminds us of the Malambo culture, Malambo dance of the Gacho culture. And then the second piece was Danza de la Moza Donosa, which is Dance of the Pretty Girl, which you can imagine as that fits really nicely with that piece. And then it also replicates the poetry of Argentina, which is a popular style from ABA. And it really captures an Argentinian flavor. The first piece having bitonal tonalities, which is two keys at the same time, which is fun to play D flat on top of C major. And then the second piece having lots of chromatic scales, which give the piece very beautiful colors. The next two pieces are from China, and I am forever in debt to Dr. Ng for introducing me to this collection of pieces from China, Melodies of China by Zhang Zhao. We're going to first hear Senjidma, which means signaling, and you can hear that in the left hand, almost a little signal that happens. And it uses almost exclusively the pentatonic scale, which is do, re, mi, so, la, and then it repeats at do. And thank you, Dr. Brill, for teaching me how to sing. Solfege, and also the Von So the pentatonic scale is used a lot in Chinese writing and music theory. Of course, it's not the same tuning as our Western tuning, but that's a different research paper of mine, and so we're not going to talk about that, but it's different tuning. And then the second piece we'll be hearing is called Pastoral, and it is a beautiful piece, kind of reflecting nature, and it's very calming and uses some extended harmonies, including major seventh chords, minor seventh chords, and my favorite major ninth chords. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you. research into Kenyan music. I am interested in Kenyan music because of Africa, and the fact that I went to Tanzania in 2019 really inspired this interest in Kenyan music. This is my lecture section titled Kenyan Music, Practice and Impact. So first, why study and teach about Kenyan music when there are so many things that we could study or learn, and there are so many options of courses we could take in a college program? This is important to an education because, first of all, when we study music from other cultures, we can learn so much. There's so much that we don't know, and it can inform us in our practice. And secondly, music is tied to culture very closely. And so by learning about a music style from a certain culture, we can also learn more about the culture itself and how the people think and their perspectives. This helps us to be more culturally understanding and respectful and honorable of that culture and the cultural art forms. Thirdly, learning about another music and their culture, it also helps us understand ourselves better as well and understand our own perspectives and our own worldviews a little bit better. I wrote down that the world needs more people who are respectful of all cultures. And we can see that in the world around us. We need more people who will be students who will grow up to be more culturally understanding, respectful, and honoring of other people of all kinds of backgrounds. Education is not just about the money you make, but about the person you become. And that's why we want to learn about all different kinds of cultures so we can be more well-rounded and just healthy people and better citizens. So Kenyan music. We're going to talk about Kenyan traditional music practice. In Kenya, music permeates life. There are lots of different ways that music permeates life. Music is involved in almost every activity and any celebration, from weddings, funerals, birthdays, magic rites, and the list goes on. There's almost nothing that music is not involved in. There is an oral tradition of learning music, which means that to learn the piece, you don't necessarily sit down with a piece of paper and practice your instrument. You go in person and watch as musicians are playing a piece, and you hear the piece, and then you're able to replicate it by ear. And then next, there's also improvisation. Improvisation means taking a melody and instead making it your own, changing it in unique ways, and also maybe embellishing it to make it unique to that situation. Every performance is a little bit different, which makes it very exciting. Then there's also a huge emphasis in vocal music. In Kenyan music, vocal music is so easy to use because everybody has a voice. So everybody's allowed to participate, and this includes everyone. And there are lots of different kinds of choir settings that music is used in. There's even schools that I visited when I was in Africa, they would start their day with a choir. They would have call and response choirs before they started their school, their learning. And then also Kenya has specific instruments that are different than our instruments, and they have also included some more Western instruments over time. With the vocal emphasis, I wanted to kind of explain a really important form of Kenyan vocal music, which is call and response. And that means there's a caller who will sing a melody and a phrase, and then the choir, the rest of the participants, will sing that same phrase as a response. And often the caller can actually improvise on that melody if the rest of the choir knows already what they're going to be singing, so that they know the typical response. And choirs are a huge part of vocal music. There are lots of different forms, especially with church music. There's, with all the birthdays and all the different celebrations, all the types of occasions, choir music is just a way to respond to any happy situation. And next there's oral tradition of learning these different chants and rhythms and different vocal pieces. Children from a young age know tons of different vocal pieces that they can just whip out at any moment because they've grown up with it and they know it by hearing. And then lastly, polyphony, which means that there's two independent melodies that are being sung at the same time. So often you'll have two different choirs, two groups of singers who will be singing independent melodies, and they work together in a counterpoint to create harmony, but they're still unique and beautiful in their own way, but they're maybe even singing different words. Now let's look at the instruments. In musicology, we typically separate our instruments into 4 different categories just to help us. And the first one is membranophones. So when you have it's basically a drum. The music and the sound is coming from a skin or a membrane that is vibrated, and that's vibrating the air. And then you have chordophones, which the sound is coming from a vibrating string. And for membranophones, we have a great example is djembes. Djembes are a very popular drum in Africa, and they're used very thoroughly. And the rhythms on the djembe are very complex and very difficult, very syncopated and difficult. Chordophones, these are the stringed instruments, so lyres. And Kenya is actually a great home for a lot of lyres that then disseminated throughout Africa. One example is the latungo, and it has specifically 8 strings. They have a different name for almost every kind of lyre, depending on how many strings it has. And I did not list all of them because they're hard to say, but we have the latungo. And then our aerophones, we have examples of horns, flutes, and whistles. And yeah, these instruments are vibrating a column of air and then are manipulated. And these are just used from natural materials that Kenyans have around them, such as wood or horns from animals. Then lastly, idiophones. Those are instruments that produce sound from the material that is actually vibrating. So the material itself is vibrating. So rattles are one example. We also have like the xylophone, marimba, that's an idea of a marimba, of an idiophone. We also have, in Kenya, we have Gikanda and Njiri and Mimbira. And we're going to talk about the Mimbira a little bit because it's so interesting, and it has, there's been research on how the style of playing a Mimbira also reflects very easily into jazz music. The Mimbira I have an old picture here of a Mimbira. It's pretty old. It's from about 1,300 years ago, as they think. And it is a tuned idiophone, so you pluck the little metal pieces with your thumbs and it makes a melody. Some people call it a thumb piano. I actually have 2 backstage, and they're so fun. The Mimbira, when you play it, there's a typical melody, just like in jazz, where you have a melody and then you change it over time. And so you can also improvise on this melody and make it your own. So every time you play on the Mimbira, there's a specific piece that's recognizable, but it's also unique in its own way, so that the performer is doing something unexpected that the audience can be interested in. Also, while playing the Mimbira, it's interesting that they have cycles of different melodies that overlap, and they slowly shift from one melody cycle to the other, and it reflects the way that African perspective on time is kind of viewed, where time is not necessarily stop and go, but it's more connected and it's more of a cycle. And it reminds me of how in African time they value people and relationships, not necessarily being on time, but valuing if something comes up, you're able to respond to them, to a person, a friend that might see you, and really valuing relationships and just being in the present moment. The Mimbira is a great example of how jazz music, has been influenced by Kenyan music. I wanted to play for you a set of pieces from Kenya. Now, I wish I could play something on the Mimbira for you, but I play the piano. So we're playing an arrangement for the piano. So this is a musical vignette, Kenyan popular folk songs arranged for piano, Volume 1 by Kepha Otien. He's the arranger. And these are, of course, folk songs. And they are African spirituals. They're similar to the way that we have Negro spirituals, which are spirituals that have come to the United States or other countries and have still, persevered even from that long, hard, arduous journey across the Atlantic. But African spirituals, and then they are coming from the 3 tribes, Luia, and Kikio. So there are 3 different tribes that will be represented tonight. And then there's an oral tradition of hearing these pieces and passing them on to further generations by singing them and hearing them and just learning them in community. There's also a spiritual message. Just like Negro spirituals, these are all spiritual songs. They have a spiritual message. Even though I will not be singing, they have words to them typically that you would sing with a group of community people and other singers. So this is the order that I will play them in, and I'll just explain to you what they mean. So Mayienga is the one who shakes, and it's referring to God as the one who shakes. And these are all almost related to Easter, which is really timely since Easter is in a few days. And then we have Muoyo, which is the rock, so God is the rock. And then Lwanda is, let's see, I think this one is the one, I know Masaika. Masaika, it refers to the blood of Christ. And then Niwara Nono is you save me freely. Lwanda, I forget. We're gonna keep going. Okay, so in these different pieces, we have jazz-inspired harmonic devices. So Ken Otien has put into these different pieces jazz-inspired harmony, and that's including our seventh chords especially, and also diminished chords. So major seventh, minor seventh, ninth chords, 13th chords, and the left hand really picks up these different chords. And the way that these chords are used are very syncopated as well, which really follows the idea and the intent of the original folk singers. In Masaika, there is a lot of syncopation, which is a great example of syncopation. Syncopation is when we emphasize a weak beat. So rather than 1 or 3, we emphasize 2 or 4 or a 16th note division in one of those beats. So in Masaika, we almost always enter with the melody on a weak beat, which is difficult, and it's usually the 16th note right before a weak beat. But it really reflects the style of singing in Kenya, which is very syncopated, rhythmic, where the rhythm is almost just as important as the melody itself. Next, in Niwara Nono, we have a call and response type of form here. In the melody on this top line of music, we have the melody in a lower register, and then it repeats in a higher octave. And this is almost replicating if you have a bass singer, a caller singing, and then the response of the choir, who are singing an octave higher. Maybe it's the trebles that are responding. And this is really capturing, again, the intent and the original melodies and, the style. And then also in Mimbira music and choir music, we typically have a verse and chorus. So even in this piece, we have a verse and chorus that trade off during the piece. Next, I want to speak a little bit about the Kenyan musical exchange. Kenya is an example of cultural hybridization and blending. No culture is stagnant. Culture is always changing, it's very dynamic, and so is the Kenyan culture. And it has many influences and has influenced other cultures as well. Like I've been talking about, it has influenced jazz. If you take a look through a jazz book, which is, the real book is a great example of that, you'll see jazz standards, and these contain the recognizable piece, and that's what makes a piece recognizable, and then jazz musicians improvise over that. It's intended to be able to be improvised, changed, made unique over that. And then again, there's lots of syncopation and rhythm in jazz music, and this is also what has inspired our music today in our pop music. We find a lot of syncopation, some improvisation, and the rhythm is very important. Also, our strong song structure. Kenyan music has a verse and a chorus, so our jazz music typically, now has a A-B-A type of form, and so do our pop songs today. The beliefs about music as well are also seen in the jazz world, because everybody in Kenya has something to contribute. Everybody is part of the musical experience. It's a community event. So when we hear jazz music now, even the audience is allowed to clap after somebody plays a solo, and are encouraged to clap after solos. And that's a way that we can all be a part of what's taking place. And lastly, vocal techniques are also seen in jazz with glides. That's Kenyan vocal music has so many different techniques: shouting, glides, elisions, and these are also seen now in our vocal techniques in jazz as well. And Kenya as well has also been influenced by other cultures. In the early 1800s, missionaries from Germany came to Kenya, and they brought some spiritual influences, Christianity, and this was also incorporated into the Kenyan culture in some ways. At some point, they did want to also recognize and honor their own styles, but also incorporate and blend together with some Western music as well, and hymns. And now they have electric guitars and accordions, brass bands, harmonic devices such as the 1, 4, 5 chords, and more of like Western tuning. And they've also found that there's North and Latin American rhythms that they also like to play, so they've also blended those into their own concerts, their own pieces that they've been writing. So there's lots of fusions taking place, especially in the urban settings like Mombasa, the main city, but also urban places where there's lots of different peoples coming together and finding that they're learning from each other. So in conclusion, Kenya and its music the Kenyan music practice is linked to the country's culture and history. So culture and music are very connected to each other, and when we can learn about other people, we can learn about their music and learn about their culture by learning their music. The rhythms and styles of Kenya have impacted what we listen to today. So by learning about the music of Kenya, we can actually understand better what we hear on the radio today. But we can also honor and respect the Kenyan music that we hear because it has impacted us as well. In recent years, there also have been new combinations or fusions of musical styles in the Kenyan urban setting. So music and culture are kind of tied together so that when you see cultural blending, you also see music blending as well because they're tied together in a symbiotic relationship. Music is so important, it's powerful because music is part of our lives, and it's C.B. Wonder said that music is a language that everybody understands, and it's a really easy way to connect with other people and cross cultural boundaries. So by learning about other people's music, we learn about them as well, and the world really does need people who are able to step across cultural boundaries and be respectful and honorable and be able to connect with others in a deep and meaningful way. And that is all. I'd like to thank you for listening, and I'd like to thank all my teachers. I'd like to thank Dr. Ng, Mr. Keith Taylor, Dr. DeBlasi, Ms. Laura Knopf, and also Dr. Sanders for helping me with my research. And I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me musically and paying for piano lessons for lots of years. I really appreciate that. And I'd like to thank all my family and friends. Thank you for supporting me through all my, these years in college. And I'd like to thank you as well for listening and coming out today. And also feel free to stay afterwards. I have some food that is probably going to be in the backstage room. And we're excited. Yeah. And so now, without any further ado, I will play for you the Kenyan Vignette of folk songs by Kepha Otien. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dave Ragsdale, Chair of the Department of Music at UAH. This past year has presented profound challenges for us all, and for some industries in particular, like the performing arts. Yet, in these challenges, we have also found exciting